told your friend you're not okay? And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Kia ora and welcome to Tarmac. I'm Dave.
I'm Matthew, and today we have something special for you because this is BMW's all-electric new flagship, the iX M60.
That's right, it's a BEV SAV that's the perfect combination of I, X and M. Come, let's take a look at this. Now, for those avid followers amongst you, you would have already known that we've done the iX as far as it goes, as far as the base model goes. Not that there's anything base about this flagship. This is the more powerful version, actually the most powerful version of it, the M60. Now, before I go into the power, let me just walk you around the outside. Looking at the front here, like the other model, it does have this, you can't lift the bonnet, so if you need to get the water into the windscreen wipers, you get through here. But look at this front grille. I know that it's a polarizing grille for many, but this one actually is self-healing. Oh, pray, oh Jesus. Anyway, if you scratch it, it will self-heal over a few days or a few hours if you've got one of those heat guns. Pretty cool. The other thing is, looking around here, it's more aggressive being an M product. So you've got more sort of jutted spoilers and vents and things like that around it. And also, look at this. It does have the flashy indicators, and look at those DRLs. So cool. And also matrix laser headlights to make sure you can see everything in the future. Not bad. Round the side, the first thing I want to point out is look at these 22-inch bicolor titanium bronze wheels. Look, they're terrifying, and they terrify me because they are so flush and so close to what could be a curb right here. There's also blue M badge brake calipers here, and also M badging on the wheels themselves. Look, magnificent M badging here, and also that titanium bronze color comes all the way down the side here onto the door handles. And also look at these doors, they are soft closing, exceptional. And well, the rest of it, just look at it, it's such a big beast. It's 5 meters long, 2 meters wide, and about 1.7 tall. So I have to look up from here. But also, because of the M stuff, or the M sort of body kit to it, it's got a drag coefficient of 0.26, which is, you know, almost as good as the golf balls that are going to be in the rear. So let's have a look there. Up here we've got a lovely roofline spoiler. Look at these lights here. They're just so cool. They flash on and just go right there. Lovely, so great. An M60 badge here, the iX badge here. Like I said, the I, the X, the M, they're all coming together. And also plenty of lower valance and I don't know, more ventilation and spoiler stuff down here. And also a kicker tailgate, which opens up to 500 litres of actual boot space, which is pretty good. And the other thing is, this has got this awesome option. Look at that tow bar that pops out that gives this a tow rating of around 2.5 tons, which is basically about the same as this thing weighs. Let's see what powers it. Normally I would be lifting up the bonnet to show you what's under there, but really all I can do is just grab some water and fill up the window washers. But you know, anyway, this bit here connects to a 111 kilowatt hour battery, which is net about 105 or usable, whichever way you look at it. It will charge at 195 kilowatts DC. And also, actually, I have actually charged this up. We're using a 50 kilowatt DC charger, and it gave me around about 100 kilometers in about half an hour. And then I got moved on. Obviously a leaf got there, but anyway, this in turn powers up the two motors, and that combined gives you 445 kilowatts and 1100 newton meters of torque under boost. And this will boost well, and 0 to 100 is just 3.8 seconds. Speaking of big things that are pretty fast, Matthew's inside and he'll show you what's going on there.
I'm not sure what Dave's going on about big things moving quickly. I could probably have him in a sprint race if I'm honest, but I can't be crystal about that. speaking of crystal, well, one of the key talking points of this cabin is exactly that. It's crystal. On the M60, you get the BMW iDrive rotary knob, that's in crystal. You get the gear shifter knob thing, that's also in crystal, as are the little buttons that move your seat backwards, forwards, and the memory seats as well. Those are in a gold sort of crystal color to match that bronze titanium highlight on the outside. Speaking of that bicolor option, there's flashes of that around the cabin too, around the AC vents, on the doors. You get some in the seats as well, and then here and there around the dashboard as well. The other thing with the seats is they are perforated leather, as you can see there, and they have an amazingly soft texture. They are also heated, ventilated, and of course electronically adjustable in many ways. Memory as well for both driver and passenger. The other unique thing about the leather in this cabin, and actually if you take a look at the leather on the doors or the dashboard, there's a symbol there with olive leaves, and that's because the leather has actually been dyed with the essence, I guess you'd call it, from olive leaves. So it is actually sustainable leather. As for what that means, I can't be sure, but BMW have said it is sustainable. So there you go, take their word for it. The other thing I'd like to really point out with this cabin, apart from of course the leather and the titanium bronze stuff, is this massive glass panoramic sunroof above me. Now this is really an incredible option because you can't open it for starters, but you can press a button on here to actually sort of dim the glass or make it brighter so that you get more light in the cabin. That's really, and visually what you can see when you press those buttons is just amazing. You can see it sort of go darker or go lighter, so it really is some breakthrough technology there. Now this infotainment screen has got to be one of the most, I guess, technologically advanced I've ever seen. And I'll start off with just the climate controls, to be honest, because if I press that button there, just look at that. It feels like you're in some sort of futuristic Iron Man type world. Like this is the sort of functionality he would want for his air conditioning. Speaking of the functionality, if you go from left to right, you've got seat heating there, ventilation, fan speed. Remember, this has quad zone climate control. You've got the direction as well of your airflow, and then for the driver you've got seat heating there as well. So it really is something out of the future. And if you press the home button up there, that shows you this sort of layout. Starting with the clock, it doesn't just show the time in sort of numerals, it actually spells it out for you. Look, it is 5 to 4. How about that? That's pretty cool. You get the navigation there. It even shows you a shortcut to the nearest charging points. There's your input there, your telephone, your BMW personal assistant, and then as well your trip status, route preview, weather. You can even have the news on there. Like, it's just sort of endless, and you can keep adding more widgets to this home screen to really set it up how you want to look like. The other cool thing is it's just like a phone in this way, where if you press those squares there, that takes you through to all of the apps. So you've got your BMW ID there, where you can really personalize the car according to, I guess, the driver's preferences there. And just look at all the apps. It's like the smartest of smartphones, honestly, in here. The other really cool thing I will point out is the My Modes function. So if you go through there, you can choose from the different modes, including expressive or relaxed. And what that does is actually change the ambient lighting, change the look of these screens. It changes the suspension settings and the drive setup as well. But we'll talk a bit more about that on the actual drive. The other thing, if I go back into the apps tray there, is the live vehicle setting. And that again shows me all the different values I've been sort of putting out in terms of consumption, and as well how much I have left to go. Now if I head back again to the apps tray, there's a few other really cool things on here, including automate habits. Now I can go in there and set up things like if I call home, for example, every day after work, I can actually automate that with my BMW ID, so that whenever I'm on my drive home from work, the car will actually prompt me and say, would you like to call home? So some really amazing functionality in there. In front of the driver here is the second of the two screens on the dashboard. And this one is the digital instrument cluster. So there's a little bit of tradition to it in terms of the layout. You've got the speed on the left, the rev counter here on the right, and then of course the gearing and a digital speedometer as well. But it's added with a touch of futurism, if you like, because just look at the way everything is laid out, the way the car sits there in the middle of the screen. You've also got the power gauge in terms of whether you're using regen braking or discharging the battery. Not to forget the little hints of M colors around, as well as that titanium and bronze flashes are included over there. Again, this screen is customizable in about a million different ways via the buttons on the steering wheel. So if I press the settings button, I can actually change the layout there between 3 different modes. I can change what I'm seeing as well in terms of content. I mean, there's a view of the range. You can have the discharging of the battery, or just the speed plainly with the M badge on, and there's several other different content options you can have. Similarly, you can customize the head-up display using the buttons on the steering wheel there, and you can change what you see over there, which is also pretty cool. The other really unique thing is actually the steering wheel itself and the way it feels, leather with the thumb grips, and there's only 2 spokes, there's no third spoke, so it's got a really unique feel to it and a very, very sort of premium touch thanks to that bronze titanium flashings as well as the leather everywhere. It really is an exceptional feeling car. Now in the back here, I mean, the space is just incredible. I've got plenty of knee room there, heaps of foot room, heaps of headroom, even with the glass roof there, and not to forget about the leather and the luxury. I mean, everything you touch is sort of very soft. The leather just feels incredible, the perforations as well. And don't forget that you have quad zone climate control, which means both the passengers in the rear can have temperatures of their own. You can have the air conditioning directing in different directions. And charging, well, you've got 2 USB-C charging ports in front of each of the front seats there, including a little drop down there where you can actually stick a tablet or an entertainment system of some sort if you do so want to. The other thing is this iX has the easy accessible pack, if you like. So if I just press the button there, that releases the door for me. Or in the event that the electronic release doesn't work, there is a fail-safe underneath here as well. So they really have thought of pretty much everything you can imagine in this cabin here. And everything you can imagine, well, that's something that's delivered by that amazing Bowers & Wilkins sound system. There's subs underneath the front seats, there's speakers all around, especially near your head too, so you really feel immersed by that sound system. Speaking of immersed, well, the driving experience is pretty special. So let's go and test out that M badge.
The first thing we should try out is launch control, which is a simple case of being sports mode, foot on the brake, foot on the accelerator, and away you go. So I have to say, there's something about 3 or 4 departments of a vehicle brand coming together and building something, because what you get is everything from the technical side and the design side of a modern vehicle, and then when it's handed over to the performance side, you get a vehicle that just does exactly what we did off the mark, and also it carries it on up to like 250 kilometers per hour. It's phenomenal. So it's just all worlds all in one, and I have to say, I really enjoy it.
I mean, when you look at the numbers and you think a car that weighs something like 2.6 tons can move the way this can, it just shouldn't be physically possible. But obviously BMW's 3 departments coming together has had everything to do with the fact that it is possible, and we're sitting here doing that. And you gotta love the M badge. Just gives, and this is a big dollop of Okay, driving positions, I think we've done this before, but visibility is massive. Your seat comfort is good. Could do with a little bit more side support, I would say. And also the seat, we went on a big drive yesterday, and I have to say the foam in the bottom did make my bum ache a little bit afterwards. But on the whole, it's
it's a vehicle that you can drive far, and you know, visibility is great, and also the technology makes up for anything that you can't see, including beeping and keeping you in the lane, and also 360-degree cameras, all that sort of stuff. So all really works that way.
I mean, there's probably as many cameras as there are speakers, to be honest, all around the outside, on either side, front and back, up and down, you know, everywhere, frankly, just like the speakers. And I think that deserves an absolute special mention in itself, because that Bowers and Wilkins system, it's standard for the M60 in New Zealand, but I know it's an optional extra in international markets, but I think it's one well worth taking, because it really is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it's loud enough to make your ears bleed, but also you'll feel happy while you're doing it. It's great. The other thing I need to talk about is the shell itself. It has been lightened, as far as there's tons of carbon fiber and sort of composites that are going on around the frame here, around the back, around the roof, in between the glass stuff going on, and it is basically there to lighten it. But the reality is, as Matthew pointed out, it's 2.6 tons, so essentially it's like going to a buffet, eating everything and downing a Diet Coke and hoping that it's going to be the right way to do it. So but it does, you know, I guess it makes a difference.
I guess even a modicum of difference in a car that was going to be heavy, especially with that 111 kilowatt hour battery pack, I guess every little bit helps. Silence
wise, as far as on the road goes, it is very, very quiet, and I know it's an electric car, so it's supposed to be quiet anyway, but there is very, very minimal road noise comes in. The tyres suspension is pretty strong or firm, and you know, helped by the fact that we've got a very slither of low profile tyre on 22-inch wheels.
Not to forget that actually we saw the tyre pressure ratings as well, and the back tyres are jacked up to 51 psi and the fronts are jacked up to 44 psi, so that will really harshen up the ride for you. But even so, I've got to say that it is almost eerily quiet in here. With most electric cars, you can at least hear some noise in the form of the electric motors running, or a little bit of whirring and buzzing, but the powertrain is just absolutely silent on this iX. There's just nothing.
But you can also set the driving modes to different things, like expressive, where it will give you a note if you want it, and also a variety of other things going on, which are all piped in, of course, but it's, again, gives you that, make sure you can hear something to back up the fact that you're going at mind warp speed.
The other thing is, the note was, I would say, engineered by none other than Hans Zimmer himself, so it's got to be a good noise.
The technology, Matthew's gone through it before, but from a driver's point of view, it really does have everything you need, even to the fact of the big head-up display, augmented reality when it comes to your driving navigation stuff, and just everything's so easy and thrown at you. And also it's still got the BMW's talky bit, so you can chat to it and you can get it to tell you a joke. Hey BMW, tell me a joke.
All right, what do you call a boomerang that doesn't come back?
Donna.
A stick.
See, that's hilarious. Who knew the Germans had a sense of humor? I don't think we can say that anymore, but anyway. Hey BMW, I'm bored.
Sport helps against boredom. Should I activate sport mode?
Yes, please. Oh, and
Great.
yes.
I will activate sport mode. Enjoy.
I will.
It also happens to activate vomit mode because of how quickly this moves.
It is fast.
The other thing I want to go over once again is just the materials in here. I mean, I know, just like how we talked about carbon fiber on a car of this weight, the fact that the leather is dyed with olive oil essence, same sort of thing. Does it make a difference? I don't know, but it is something that's nice too, a nice talking point if you like. And not to forget the crystal buttons and things all over the place. I mean, we don't see that at all in cars, but it really is just sort of something that catches your eye in a car like this.
And something else that's upmarket, as I should have pointed out when I was in the rear, is,
of course, the second set of tail lights. Now, because the tail lights are on the boot lid, and when you open that up, it takes the tail lights with it as a safety sort of precaution, not a precaution, a regulation rather. BMW has had to put a second set of tail lights on the inside of the boot for safety, of course. But those also look rather they bear an uncanny resemblance to those on the Cullinan. Now, Rolls-Royce can't talk about trademark infringements because BMW, of course, owns Rolls-Royce.
So therefore, you a good chat up blind. Come and look at my Rolls-Royce taillights. Can't be better than that. So there you have it, BMW's new iX M60. I mean, I don't know what the 60 stands for, but I know the M stands for just thorough fun and performance, and the rest of it just electric, just fast, well equipped, and just super. I really enjoyed it.
I mean, we talk about BMW and luxury, but this is sort of, even for them, this is luxury and comfort on a different level, I've got to say. And adding that dash of M-ness just makes it the complete flagship BMW.
Dash? Anyway, awesome. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. And make sure you subscribe, because we want to make sure you see what we do. See you soon.